Hi, Phil Iverson here in Chicago. A cold night, below 10 degrees, January 21st. This video is about small business bookkeeping. I just did a video about more pertinent to QuickBooks and some tips about how to approach using QuickBooks. This particular video is more about general bookkeeping for your small business and some tips on how to make an income statement, in particular an income statement, and also a little bit about a balance sheet. Now, if you have a small business and you're using QuickBooks, well, that's great, but you do not have to use QuickBooks. You can use, if it's a small business, not too much, not a ton of transactions going on, you can use a program like Excel, and you can very easily use a pencil or a pen and a piece of columnar paper. In my life, I have done, I'm a little bit older, I have done a ton of manual bookkeeping. There were no Excel or different kind of programs for small businesses when I started out. We did things manually, made up proper financial statements, sent them to a statistical typist. She'd make them look pretty on an old-fashioned proper typewriter. But the advantage to using Excel or a piece of columnar paper is you can see everything before you. With QuickBooks or Peachtree or something like that, it's not so easy to see. It's not. You can enter checks in a check register, but it's not so clear as to where they've been posted. If by chance you put the wrong date on a check, you've just sent that check back in time, to whatever date is on the check. This is a possible mistake. It doesn't come out until it's not apparent until you reconcile the bank account, and it gets a little bit tricky. So these are some of the things to consider. And the way we do it, let's just take Excel. Well, this applies to either Excel or a piece of columnar paper. With all your expenses, list, put the check number in one column, the amount of the check in the next column, and then post it to an expense column. Let's say rent, or office supplies, or the most common one is maybe parts or used in a product, or gasoline if you drive a lot. But post that to your expense account, and then on the bottom, after you've listed all your checks and posted them up into the expense account, total them up. The control account, that very first, or rather second account that's got the amount of the checks, that should equal, because you've got the dollar amount for all the checks, that should equal the total of all your expense accounts. So, and you can look at Accounting 101, a textbook or something like that, to get an idea of what a cash disbursements journal looks like. It's a fancy way of saying it's a list of all your expenses. Now, on your income, one of the ways we do it, and this certainly gets changed around a little as a little more sophistication comes in, but if all your income goes to the bank account, well, you can just take 12 bank statements, January through December, and whatever the deposits are, that's your income. Now that's simplified. You have to deduct anything that you personally have put in there. any transfers between, you know, the checking account, money market, something like that. Any other kind of credits to that bank statement have to be deducted out. So, but in general, the theory is if everything is deposited to the bank account, your 12 months deposits, it's one number on each bank statement. That would be income for a year. Now, if you're doing a little bit fancier bookkeeping, using accrual-based accounting, that means you book the income whenever you send the invoice out. Well, then you do, in these days, probably need a program like QuickBooks. And it's a little bit elaborate discussion on doing accruals. So I'm going to actually defer that for a different video. But whenever you're doing bookkeeping, either in QuickBooks, manually, in Excel, try to keep the number of accounts, your chart of accounts, try to keep it as small as possible. It's much easier to use and manage a smaller number of accounts than it is to start out with a huge list of accounts you're using, and it's just a little bit easier to use. And also, many of those accounts, if you come with a standard, like in QuickBooks, a standard chart, they may be unnecessary. You may not even, you know, have a proper use for them. So try to make things easy for yourself when you're keeping the books for your own business. Remember to file your 1099s if you pay any money out to independent contractors. IRS very funny about that these days. What else? I'm just trying to think. Something that's simple without going into a ton of technical aspects. I guess that would probably be it. Again, if you're Phil Iverson here in Chicago, I hope your businesses are all doing really well. Until next time.